I'll read this first to ensure the best quality for this front-end content creation task, actually. This is a script writing task, not a front-end or document task. Let me dive straight in. Beyond the Gates, March 31st. Spoilers, Ted's shocking confession. Tomas's secret and everything you need to know. Hey. Welcome back to the channel. Everybody, if you are watching this, that means you are just as obsessed with Beyond the Gates as I am, and honestly, good. You should be, because this show, week after week, just refuses to let us breathe. Just when you think you can sit back and relax with your popcorn, the writers throw something at us that makes us slam our hands on the table and go, wait, what? And today we are talking about the March 31st episode, and I need you to buckle up because there is a lot happening at Fairmont Crest right now. We've got Ted about to potentially blow up or level up his entire relationship with Shanice in one single moment. We've got Tomas doing his little secret keeping thing again. We've got Chelsea accidentally hurting Kat, which honestly breaks my heart a little. And Andre is back, baby, and reconnecting with Danny after one of the most emotionally intense storylines this show has given us in a while. So grab your drink, get comfortable, and let's break this all down together. I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to have theories, you're going to have feelings, and you might just need to call someone to talk about it. Let's go. Ted and Shanice. Is he about to drop the L word? Okay. Can we just start here? Because this is the one that has me absolutely buzzing right now. Let's talk about Ted, played by the incredible Keith D. Robinson, and what he is apparently about to say to Shanice. Now, let me give you a little context first, because I think it's really important to understand the journey that Ted has been on recently to truly appreciate the magnitude of what is happening in this episode. A little while back, Ted had this deeply emotional conversation with Anita, played by the legendary Tamara Tooney, while Anita was in the hospital. And I want to be clear, that scene hit different. Anita, who is literally lying in a hospital bed, essentially gives Ted what felt like a piece of wisdom she might not get another chance to share. She pushed him, she challenged him, and Ted, to his credit, actually listened. Now here's something I love about Ted as a character that I don't think gets talked about enough. He is someone who genuinely struggles with presence. Not love, he has love in abundance. But being present, being there in the way people need, that is his weak spot. And Anita saw that. She basically held up a mirror and said, Ted, look at yourself. Look at what you're neglecting. And the man woke UP. He called Martin immediately. He made a point of connecting with Kat. He acknowledged in a real and meaningful way that he had been shortchanging the relationships in his life that weren't tied to Ava. That is growth. People, that is actual visible character development. And in a soap opera landscape where characters can sometimes feel like they're spinning in circles, I genuinely appreciate when the writers commit to moving someone forward. So after all of that emotional reckoning, after Ted essentially had his soul recalibrated by a woman fighting for her life, he goes to Shanice. He tells her he wants to spend more quality time with her. He talks about going on a trip together. And now, in the March 31st episode, something slips out of his mouth that shocks her. I mean, can you believe it? Because here's my read on this. I think Ted says, I love you, or something very close to it. Something that crosses a threshold they haven't crossed before. And here's why I think that, and why it makes complete narrative sense. Think about it. Ted has just gone through a near loss with Anita. He is in a heightened emotional state. He is actively trying to be a better version of himself. He is with a woman he clearly cares about deeply. and he just committed to building something real with her. In that kind of emotional environment, all those three words or something equivalent to them, they just come out not planned, not rehearsed, just real. And that is exactly what the spoilers suggest. He blurts out something shocking. The word blurt is key here. This isn't a candlelit dinner confession. This isn't a rehearsed speech. This is Ted, in a raw and genuine moment, saying something he maybe didn't even plan to say, and now it's out there, floating between them, and there is no taking it back. Now the real question, this is where I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, is how does Shanice react? Because Shanice, as a character, has always struck me as someone who guards herself carefully. She's warm, she's caring, she's wonderful, but vulnerability, receiving it as much as giving it, that's a different challenge. If Ted says, "I love you," and Shanice freezes or deflects or can't say it back in the moment, that doesn't mean she doesn't feel it. It might just mean she's not ready. And that could create a beautiful kind of tension between them. Not conflict exactly, but that exquisite, agonizing kind of almost there that the best love stories live in. Alternatively, and I know some of you are thinking this, what if it's something other than "I love you"? What if Ted says something like, "I want you to move in with me," or "I want you to meet my kids properly," something that represents a massive step forward in commitment, that would also absolutely qualify as shocking and relationship altering. And honestly, given Ted's recent emphasis on quality time and vacations and family, I could see that too. Either way, this is a moment I am here for. Ted and Shanice deserve their time in the spotlight, and it looks like March 31st is delivering exactly that. Donnie and Andre reconnection after the storm. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that honestly has me a little emotional, because the Donnie and Andre storyline has been rough lately, and not in a fun, dramatic way. In a real, heavy, human way, while Andre, played by Sean Freeman, was away on a photography shoot. Danny, the brilliant Carla Mosley, was essentially left to navigate one of the most devastating situations any person can face, watching her mother fight for her life and having to be the one to convince her not to sign a DNR, a do not resuscitate order. For anyone who might not know the medical terminology, think about that for a second. That is not a TV drama problem. That is a real human, heartbreaking crossroads that families face every single day. And the fact that Beyond the Gates is putting that weight on Danny's shoulders alone, without her husband, says something really significant about where their marriage stands. Here is my honest, maybe slightly controversial take. I think Andre being away during all of this is going to be a wound that doesn't heal as quickly as either of them might want. Even if he had a legitimate professional reason to be gone, even if Donnie intellectually understands that emotionally, she carried something enormous by herself, and those kinds of experiences leave a mark. So now Andre is back, and the spoilers tell us that Donnie and Andre are going to do something they have never done before. Which, and I love this kind of teaser because it could mean so many things, are they finally having a truly honest conversation about the cracks in their foundation? Are they making a decision together, maybe about Anita's care? Maybe about their own future that they've been avoiding? Or is this something smaller and more intimate, a gesture, a ritual, a moment of connection that they've always meant to share but never quite got to? I lean toward thinking this is an emotional breakthrough of some kind, not a physical thing, but a conversation, a laying it all on the table moment that these two have been circling around for too long. Because here's the thing about Donnie and Andre, they love each other. That's never really been in question. But love doesn't automatically equal communication. And Fairmont Crest has a way of putting couples through pressure tests that reveal exactly where their foundations are, strong and where they're cracked. This week, I think we find out something important about the foundation. Bill and Joey, when will this dynamic duo learn their lesson? Bill sweet, reckless, perpetually in over his head Bill, played by Timo and Kyle Durrett. And I say this with genuine affection. This man makes the worst decisions with the most spectacular consistency I have ever seen on a television program. So here's where we are. Bill has once again gone knocking on Joey's door, John Lindstrom playing Joey, who is basically the fixer of Fairmont Crest in the shadiest possible sense, to ask for help. Again, and listen, I am not here to completely drag Bill, because I actually think there's something really compelling about a man who clearly knows better, who clearly understands that every time he dials Joey's number, he is one step closer to a disaster he can't walk back from, and yet he keeps doing it. That's not stupidity. That's desperation. And desperation is one of the most human, relatable emotions there is. The last time these two teamed up, it was in connection with the person allegedly responsible for robbing Bill's wife. And that situation, as we all know, did not go smoothly. Not even a little. So for Bill to turn around and go back to that same well, either something has happened that is so serious he feels he has no other option, or Bill is someone who genuinely cannot learn from his own experiences, which would be a tragic character flaw, but also a fascinating one. Now, here's the theory I'm working with. I think this might have something to do with Lynette Dominique Madison's character, who has been described as Haley's shady friend. And if Lynette is involved in something that threatens Haley or threatens the stability of people Bill cares about, yeah, I can absolutely see Bill going scorched earth and calling in every favor he has. Consequences be damned. The question I keep coming back to is, at what point does Joey stop helping and start owning? Because every time Bill comes to Joey, Joey gets more leverage, more information, more power over Bill's life. And Joey is not the kind of man who collects leverage without eventually using it. That is a debt that is accumulating interest. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not this week, but one day, Joey is going to call it in, and when he does, Bill is not going to be in a position to say no. That's the slow burn danger of this storyline. And I think it's genuinely brilliant writing. Tomas, the reluctant secret keeper who keeps collecting secrets he doesn't want. Can we talk about poor Tomas for a second? Alex Alegria plays him. And I find Tomas to be one of the most fascinating supporting characters on this show, precisely because he is so inconsistent in a realistic way. Here's what I mean. Tomas is not a good secret keeper when it comes to Kat. He has essentially been a pipeline of information flowing directly to Ava, Kat's enemy. And that is a betrayal that I personally have not forgiven him for, even if the show has kind of moved past it. And here's the interesting thing. When it comes to other people's secrets, Tomas locks up. He never told Haley about witnessing Bill and Danny kiss. Think about how explosive that information would have been. Think about what Haley would have done with it. And Tomas just sat on it. Why? What is his logic? What is his internal moral framework that says, I'll gossip up Kat to her enemy, but I'll protect Bill from his wife? That inconsistency is what makes him interesting. And now he's sitting on yet another secret, having apparently overheard a suspicious phone call from Haley. And whatever he heard, he hasn't told a soul. So what's the new secret he's keeping in the March 31st episode? My gut says it's something that implicates someone he cares about, or someone powerful enough that he's genuinely afraid of the consequences of talking. Tomas may not be the bravest character on this show, but he's perceptive. He notices things, and sometimes the scariest thing you can be in a town full of secrets is the person who notices everything but says nothing. Chelsea and Kat one step forward, 2 steps back, and finally Chelsea and Kat, Ronnie Rose Mantilla and Colby Muhammad, respectively. And these two have such incredible chemistry as cousins and business partners that every time their relationship is strained, I feel it personally. They just got past the whole Chelsea and Madison engagement drama, which was a whole entire thing, Kat was hurt, Chelsea fell caught in the middle, and it took real work for them to find their footing again. And now, almost immediately, Chelsea accidentally does something that hurts Kat again. You know what this reminds me of? The way real relationships work. Because in real life, the people who hurt us most are not always the ones trying to hurt us. They're the people we're closest to, the ones who accidentally brush against our bruises without even knowing we have. Then, Chelsea is not a villain in this scenario. Chelsea is just someone navigating her own happiness and inadvertently stepping on Kat's toes in the process. That doesn't make it hurt less. But it does make it more interesting to watch, because you can't be purely angry at Chelsea when you understand her position. And you can't dismiss Kat's pain just because Chelsea didn't mean it. I really hope the show gives this conflict room to breathe, rather than resolving it in a single scene. These two deserve a proper, messy, emotional reckoning, not a quick hug and a we're good. Their relationship is one of the richest on the show, and moments of friction between them should be earned and explored, not simply patched over. Final thoughts and your theories. All right, everybody, that is the breakdown for Beyond the Gates, March 31st, and what a week it's shaping up to be. Ted putting his heart on the line with Shanice. Andre coming home to a